Turn desire into reality. Act even when you're not ready. 1. The power of a definite plan. Create a definite plan for carrying out your desire. Every great achievement begins in the unseen realm of desire. It starts as a spark, an inner whisper, a vision of something more, something better, something that calls you to rise above your current circumstances. But desire alone is not enough. Dreams without direction are illusions. Hope without a plan is a mirage. You can wish, hope, want, crave, but without a clear, definite plan, your dreams will stay locked in your imagination, gathering dust with time. We've all seen it. People with enormous potential, filled with passion and talent, yet year after year, their lives remain unchanged. Why? Not because they didn't care, not because they weren't capable, but because they never created a roadmap to follow. They drifted. They waited. They told themselves, one day. But one day never came. Let me ask you something. How long have you carried your dream inside you? How many mornings have you woken up with a fire in your heart but went to bed without taking a single step toward that vision? How many excuses, distractions, fears have kept you from even beginning? Here's the truth. Your dream is valid, but it is your responsibility to build it. A plan doesn't have to be perfect, in fact it never will be, but it must be specific. It must be intentional. You don't need to map out every detail of the journey, you just need to take control of the direction. Without a plan, you're not living, you're reacting. You're a passenger in your own life. Think of your desire like a seed. If you plant it in your mind but never give it structure, it won't grow, it will wither. But if you take that seed, create the conditions for growth, soil, water, sunlight, care, that's your plan. That's how dreams take root in reality. Your plan is your commitment to yourself. It's how you prove that your desire is more than just a passing wish. It's a decision, a line in the sand, a declaration that says, this matters to me, this is where I'm going, and here's how I begin. And you must begin, not next week, not when you're more confident, not when conditions are perfect, but now. Because the truth is, you'll never feel completely ready. Readiness is a myth. Clarity comes from movement. Confidence comes from doing. The plan isn't a cage, it's a launch pad. It gives shape to your momentum. It frees you from hesitation by giving you a first step to take, and then another. So today, make your desire tangible. Write it down. Give it a name. Create a path, even if it's just the first 3 steps. Don't let another week pass you by wondering when the right time will come. The right time is the moment you decide to move. The gap between your current life and the life you want isn't luck. It's not timing. It's clarity, it's action. So build your plan. Make it real. Make it yours. And then step into it, even if your knees are shaking. Because a person with a desire, a plan, and the courage to act, even when they're not ready, is unstoppable. Define your desire. If you don't know what you want, how can you possibly create a plan to achieve it? It sounds simple, even obvious, yet this is where most people get stuck. They confuse motion with meaning, busyness with purpose, and effort with direction. They chase vague goals. I want to be successful. I want more money. I want to be happier, without ever stopping to ask, what exactly does that mean to me? Here's the secret. You cannot manifest what you cannot define. Desire must be clear, focused, and specific. Otherwise, it remains abstract, a shadow that slips through your fingers no matter how hard you reach. The mind needs a target. The heart needs a purpose. Without those, your energy is scattered, and scattered energy creates scattered results. Think of a magnifying glass in the sun. When held loosely, the light spreads and warms, but when focused, it burns. That's the power of clarity. When your desire is sharpened to a single point, it becomes fire. It becomes unshakable, and fire moves mountains. Ask the real questions. To define your desire clearly, you must first slow down and listen to yourself. Really listen. You must become brutally honest, not with the world, not with social media, not with your family, but with yourself. Ask, what do I truly want, beyond what's expected of me? If I had no fear of judgment, what would I go after? What is the vision that wakes something up in my soul? What would make me proud to have lived fully? Don't settle for surface-level answers. The first few responses will be foggy, even cliché. That's normal. Keep digging. Get to the desire behind the desire. You might think you want freedom, but what you truly crave is autonomy, the ability to shape your own days. You might say you want success, but what lights you up is impact, the feeling of contributing something real to the world. Peel the layers. Write it down, like it's already real. Once you know what you truly want, write it down. Not as a wish, not as a vague idea, but as a clear, present tense statement of intention. Why present tense? Because your brain responds powerfully to certainty. Instead of saying, I want to become a writer one day, say, I am a published author whose words inspire thousands. Not, I hope to start a business, but I own a thriving business that serves people and gives me freedom. This simple shift, from future hope to present identity, rewires your subconscious. It tells your mind, this is who I am becoming. And from that place, your thoughts, actions, and habits begin to align. Post it somewhere visible, on your mirror, your phone background, your journal. Speak it aloud daily. The more you engage with it, the more real it becomes. Repetition gives it roots. Avoid the traps of vagueness and comparison. Here's a truth most people avoid. Vagueness is safe. It gives you a back door. If you don't define your dream, you can't fail at it, but you also can't reach it. Specificity feels risky, it exposes you, but it's the only way to summon your full power. When you say, I want to build a coaching business that earns $100,000 per year and gives me freedom to travel, you're drawing a line. That's brave. That's bold. And that's exactly what you need. And don't fall into the trap of comparison. Your desire is yours alone. It doesn't need to impress anyone. It doesn't have to match what others want. Maybe your dream is to become a teacher who changes 10 lives a year. That's just as valid, just as powerful as someone aiming to build an empire. The only question that matters is, does this desire come from the deepest part of me? If the answer is yes, you have your foundation. The emotional fuel behind your desire. Now we go deeper. Desire is not just about what you want, it's about why you want it. Your why is your fuel. It's what will carry you through setbacks, silence, and self-doubt. It's what will make you get up on the hard days when no one's watching and nothing seems to be working. So ask, why do I want this so badly? Is it to prove something to yourself? To rewrite your family's story? To create a life of meaning for your children? To live fully while you still have time? Connect to the emotion behind the goal. Let it move you. Let it hurt a little if it has to. That emotion is sacred. It is what separates wishful thinking from burning desire. Napoleon Hill said, desire is the starting point of all achievement. Not a hope, not a wish, but a keen pulsating desire which transcends everything. So feel it. Own it. Let your desire pulse through your veins like electricity. Give your desire a deadline. Clarity is sharpened by urgency. Give your goal a timeline. This is not to add pressure, it's to give structure. A dream with no timeline becomes tomorrow's excuse. But when you say, by December 31st I will, now the clock starts. Now you have direction. Now every month, every week, every day has meaning. It could be 3 months, 6 months, 12. What matters is that it's real and specific. You are sending a message to the universe and more importantly to yourself. I'm not just dreaming, I'm doing. Final words for step 1. Define your desire clearly. Don't just want. Don't just hope. Declare. Paint the picture in full color. Speak it, write it, feel it, timestamp it. Make it impossible to ignore. Because once your desire becomes vivid, undeniable, and emotionally charged, you are no longer just thinking about your dream. You are becoming it. You are not waiting for the right moment. You are creating it. Step 2. Transform your desire into a concrete plan. A clear desire without a plan is like fire without oxygen, full of potential but ultimately destined to die out. You've defined your dream, you've felt it deeply, you've written it down with boldness. But now comes the part where most people hesitate. The part where dreaming ends and building begins. Because a dream, no matter how powerful, is only the seed. It's not the tree. And between the dream and the reality lies one bridge, your plan. Without a plan, you wander. You guess. You hope something magical happens. But magic is not a strategy. You don't need fairy dust. You need focus, structure, and steps. So let's break down how to transform that desire into a clear, actionable plan. One that ignites momentum, builds confidence, and moves you forward even when motivation fades. Why planning is not optional. There's a myth that people with passion can simply figure it out along the way. And while passion is powerful, it is not a substitute for structure. You don't build a house by showing up with enthusiasm and a hammer. You build it with blueprints, measurements, timelines, and actions. Likewise, your life's vision needs architecture. It needs lines, edges, stages, tools, materials, deadlines. It doesn't matter how grand your dream is. If you don't map it, you'll miss it. A plan gives you clarity. You know what to do next. Control. You're not a victim of circumstances. Confidence. You're acting with direction, not guessing. And most importantly, progress. The 5 elements of a definite plan. Let's now break your desire into a living, breathing plan. 1. What exactly do you want? Specific outcome. This is the destination. It must be measurable, visual, and specific. Instead of, I want to be healthier, say, I want to lose 8 kg and run 5 kilometers in under 30 minutes within 90 days. Instead of, I want financial freedom, say, I want to earn $5,000 a month from my online business within 12 months. Specificity creates visibility. You can't hit a target you can't see. Hashtag 2. Why do you want it? Emotional fuel. You define this in step 1, but now embed it in your plan. Don't skip this. Motivation fades, meaning lasts. Your why is your anchor. When you feel lost, tired, discouraged, return to this. Put it at the top of your plan. Make it emotional, visceral, personal. I want to do this because I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck, because I want my kids to see what's possible, because I refuse to live a life of regret. When the plan gets hard, and it will, this is what keeps you moving. 3. How will you do it? Key milestones. Break the big goal into milestones, medium-sized wins on the path to your vision. For example, if your goal is to launch a business in 90 days, week 1 to 2, define the offer and audience. Week 3 to 4, build a landing page. Week 5 to 6, create content and begin outreach. Week 7 to 8, launch MVP. Week 9 to 12, evaluate, adapt, scale. Your brain loves checklists. Small wins keep the dopamine flowing. Don't try to leap the mountain. Climb it 1 milestone at a time. 4. What's the first step? Immediate action. This is critical. Most people overthink and underact. If you don't take the first step within 24 hours, the odds of you acting at all plummet. So what can you do today, not next week, to begin? Buy the book. Sign up for the course. Write the first paragraph. Call the mentor. Open the document and name it. My dream plan starts now. Small action beats perfect planning. Every time. Get moving. 5. When will you do it? Time-bound structure. Every goal needs time boundaries. A deadline turns maybe into must. Assign daily habits. X. Write for 45 mins every morning. Weekly milestones. X. Finish 2 modules by Sunday. A final deadline. X. Launch by August 15. Time multiplies focus. Set clear appointments with your dream. Treat them like meetings with your future self, and don't show up late. Remove the fluff. Face the resistance. Let's be honest, most of what we call planning is actually procrastination in disguise. We tinker, we research, we prepare, and we tell ourselves we're getting ready. But the truth is, you don't need more time, you need more courage. A real plan is not about perfection, it's about commitment to consistent action, even when it's messy. It's not about knowing everything, it's about knowing the next 3 moves and being brave enough to make them. So, simplify. Don't wait for the perfect schedule, the ideal app, or the moment when you feel fully confident. Start, then build, then refine. Your plan will evolve. Let it. Here's something freeing. Your first plan will not be your final plan. That's not a failure, it's a feature. As you act, you'll learn, you'll grow, you'll adjust, you'll discover new opportunities, hit new barriers, and expand your vision. That's good. That means you're alive in your mission. Think of your plan like a compass, not a GPS. It gives you direction, not a rigid path. So don't wait for perfection. Build the first version and commit to constant iteration. Your plan is a contract with your future self. At the end of the day, this is about ownership. When you build a plan, you are no longer just someone who wants something. You are someone who is becoming something. Your plan is a bridge between imagination and execution. It is your declaration that you refuse to drift, that you are not a spectator in your own life, that you're done waiting for conditions to be right. You are building your path, step by step, brick by brick, breath by breath. Final challenge: build, begin, believe. You now have the power to move from vague intention to clear execution. You've done what 90% of people never do. You've built your blueprint. Now go. Don't let fear delay you. Don't let uncertainty freeze you. You don't need all the answers. You just need a plan and the decision to start walking it. So take the first step and then the next. Your dream is waiting on the other side of your action. Step 3. Begin immediately, even if you're not ready. Begin at once, whether you are ready or not. Napoleon Hill. This is the line that separates dreamers from doers. You've defined your desire. You've built your plan. Now comes the moment that makes all the difference. You must begin. Not someday. Not after more research. Not after you feel confident. Not once the timing is perfect. Now. Because here's the truth. You will never feel fully ready. And that's okay. Readiness is not a requirement for action. It is a result of action. We've been taught to believe we need certainty before we move, but life doesn't work that way. Clarity comes from doing, not waiting. Momentum comes from motion, not meditation. The path reveals itself when you commit to walking it. Waiting for readiness is a lie. Let's call it out. The idea that you need to feel ready is a lie dressed up as logic. It's fear in disguise. It's your comfort zone whispering, let's just wait until we're 100% sure. But here's what 100% certainty usually means. You're already too late. By the time you feel fully ready, the window of boldness may have already closed. The opportunity may have passed. The fire may have cooled. Waiting for readiness often becomes a sophisticated way of avoiding discomfort. Think about it. Were you ready the first time you rode a bike? Were you ready when you fell in love? Were you ready when you took your first big risk in life? Probably not, but you did it anyway, and that's what made you grow. Action rewires the mind. Your brain thrives on feedback, but it can't get feedback from thinking. It gets feedback from doing. When you act, even a little, you start to build proof that you're capable. You gain evidence that you can move forward even while afraid. Each step, no matter how small, tells your brain, we are becoming this. Here's the cycle. Act, learn, adjust, grow, believe, act again. Confidence is not what causes you to act. Action is what causes you to become confident. So don't wait to feel courageous. Do the thing. Courage will meet you along the way. Start before you're ready. Real-life examples. Look at any success story in business, art, relationships, health, and you'll find this same thread. They began before they felt ready. The entrepreneur who launched a business before knowing how to build a website. The speaker who gave their first talk before conquering stage fright. The athlete who entered their first competition before feeling in shape. The writer who published their first post before mastering grammar. They didn't wait for perfection. They started with belief and a burning desire. And the truth is, you can too. You don't need more time. You need to decide. What starting looks like, even when you're scared. Here's the good news. Starting doesn't mean leaping off a cliff. It means taking one visible step, a signal to yourself and the world that you've begun. That could mean clicking publish on that post you've been editing for months, registering the domain name for your idea, making the phone call you've been avoiding, showing up to the gym and walking for 10 minutes, telling one person about your plan, out loud. It doesn't need to be dramatic. It just needs to be real. Start small, but start boldly. The resistance will rise. Do it anyway. The moment you start, resistance will come. It will whisper, you're not good enough. This isn't the right time. What if you fail? What will people think? Good. That means you're on the right track. Resistance is a compass. It points you toward what matters. You're not supposed to feel fearless. You're supposed to act in spite of fear. Let your heartbeat remind you you're alive. Let the nerves tell you you're stepping into growth. Let the doubt fuel your determination to prove it wrong. Fear is not a stop sign. it's a starting bell. The 24-hour rule. Here's a powerful habit. Commit to acting within 24 hours of making a decision. Why? Because hesitation kills dreams. The longer you wait, the louder the inner critic gets. The more time you give fear, the more creative it becomes in inventing reasons not to act. So when you build your plan, when you define your desire, follow it with this question. What's the one thing I can do in the next 24 hours to move forward? Then do it. Even if it's messy. Even if it's small. Even if it's terrifying. Progress loves speed. Tools to keep you moving. Starting is one thing. Staying in motion is another. Here are a few tools to help you keep acting even when self-doubt shows up. Micro goals. Break your big goal into 10-minute tasks. Accountability. Tell someone your start date and check in. Environment shift. Change your surroundings to match your intentions. Create a dedicated workspace. Mantras. Use affirmations like I act before I'm ready, or clarity comes from action. Celebrate tiny wins. Every action taken is a victory. Reward it. Action creates identity. Here's the most beautiful part. Each time you act before you feel ready, you're reshaping your identity. You're becoming a person who follows through, a person who trusts themselves, a person who lives from courage, not comfort. This is not just about getting things done. This is about becoming the kind of person who no longer waits for life to happen, but goes out and makes it happen. Final words. Leap, even if you stumble. Start now, not later. You already have what you need to begin. You may not have all the answers, but you have a direction. You may not feel confident, but you have conviction. You may not feel ready, but you have a reason. And that's enough. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need permission. You don't need more time. You need to move, and when you do, even if you fall, even if it's messy, even if no one sees it, you'll know you've stepped into the arena. That's where real life begins. Step 4. Build relentless discipline. Take daily aligned action. Desire gives you the spark. A plan gives you the direction. Action gives you momentum. But it is discipline, consistent, unshakable daily discipline, that builds the dream. You can start with inspiration, but if you want to finish, if you want to bring your vision into reality, you must build a system of daily action, rooted not in emotion, but in commitment. Because the path to anything great is not paved with motivation, it is paved with discipline. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline shows up regardless. Discipline, the bridge between wanting and becoming. Here's the brutal truth. Everyone wants something, but only the disciplined few actually get it. Why? Because the gap between where you are and where you want to be is not talent, intelligence, or luck. It's the willingness to do what needs to be done every day, especially when you don't feel like it. This is the realm of daily habits, micro decisions, and focused effort. Not one-time sprints, but the grit to return to your vision again and again until your actions shape your destiny. Discipline is not restriction, it is liberation. Because when you're disciplined, you don't wait for the stars to align. You become the one who aligns them. Why daily aligned action matters. Let's break that down. Daily, because consistency compounds. It's not what you do once in a while that shapes your future, it's what you do every single day. Aligned, because your actions must point to your vision. Productivity is meaningless if it's not tied to purpose. Action, because clarity without motion is stagnation. Action is what transforms ideas into results. When you take aligned action daily, you begin to close the gap between the person you are today and the person you are becoming. That's the real magic. That's the transformation. Build a simple, repeatable system. Discipline doesn't come from willpower, it comes from design. Here's how to build a daily system that sustains momentum and eliminates decision fatigue. 1. Define your non-negotiables. Choose 2 to 3 small, powerful actions you will take every single day, no matter what. Examples: write for 30 minutes each morning, reach out to one potential client daily, exercise for 20 minutes, reflect and plan tomorrow for 10 minutes each night. These are your daily rituals, the unbreakable promises you make to your future self. Don't aim for perfection, aim for consistency. Done daily, done perfectly. 2. Anchor them to your schedule. Put them on your calendar. Set reminders. Stack them with existing habits. Want to journal every morning? Do it right after brushing your teeth. Want to work on your goal? Block time immediately after lunch or before checking social media. If it's not scheduled, it's optional. And your dream is not optional. 3. Track your progress. Use a simple habit tracker, journal, or app. Every check mark is a silent vote for the person you're becoming. Momentum builds when you can see your wins. Even if they're small, they matter. Train your emotional discipline. Daily discipline is not just about doing, it's about doing when your emotions tell you not to. There will be days when you're tired, you're uninspired, you're discouraged, you see no visible progress. These are the defining moments, not the easy days, the hard ones. Discipline is forged in discomfort. It is in those very moments that you declare, I do not negotiate with my dream. You act anyway. You show up anyway. You trust the process anyway. This is how character is built. This is how transformation sticks. Identity-based discipline. To make discipline natural, tie it to your identity. Don't say, I'm trying to write a book. Say, I'm a writer, and writers write daily. Don't say, I'm trying to build a business. Say, I'm a builder, a creator. I act on my vision every day. When you act from identity, your habits become expressions of who you are, not chores on a list. And the more you live that identity, the more real it becomes. Beware the discipline killers. These are the enemies of daily action. Recognize them, beat them. Overwhelm. Trying to do too much at once kills momentum. Start small. Stay consistent. Let progress compound. Perfectionism. Done is better than perfect. Progress, not polish, is your goal. All or nothing thinking. Missed a day? Don't burn the whole plan. Bounce back. Consistency is about return rate, not streaks. Distraction. Protect your focus. Turn off notifications. Create space. Treat your work sessions like sacred appointments. Relentless doesn't mean rigid. It means unstoppable. Let's redefine relentless. It doesn't mean aggressive. It doesn't mean burnout. It means you don't quit. You adapt. You refocus. You persist. Life will interrupt. You'll get sick. You'll face setbacks. That's okay. Being relentless means you don't abandon your dream. You protect it. You stay in the game. You find a way. Every single day. Relentless discipline is a quiet force. It's not always loud or dramatic. It's steady, consistent, invisible, but undeniably powerful. Final challenge. Make discipline your superpower. You want results? You want transformation? You want to become the person you were meant to be? Then this is the truth. Discipline is not punishment, it is the pathway to freedom. Because when you act in alignment daily, you build trust with yourself. You collapse the gap between vision and reality. You become unstoppable. So today, decide, what 2 to 3 small actions will I commit to daily? How will I track and protect these actions? Who do I become when I honor these commitments? You already have the desire. You already have the plan. You already began. Now it's time to build the engine that carries your dream forward. Relentlessly, quietly, powerfully, daily. Step 5, adjust, learn and persist, evolve through feedback. So you've taken action. You've committed to daily discipline, but the road ahead isn't always straight. It twists, dips and throws detours your way. And here's the part nobody likes to talk about. No plan survives the battlefield unchanged. You will make mistakes. Some things won't work. You'll hit unexpected barriers. You'll try something that felt right and fall flat. And that's not failure. That's feedback. That's growth. The people who win in life are not the ones with perfect plans. They're the ones who know how to adjust, learn, and persist through everything. Growth is not linear. It's iterative. You're not a machine executing a flawless script. You're a human, becoming more powerful and self-aware with every step. That means your path will zigzag. You'll try, refine, adapt. You'll discover new strengths. You'll uncover weaknesses. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Progress isn't a straight line, it's a spiral. Every loop brings you higher. Every iteration makes you wiser. But only if you're willing to learn. Only if you're willing to adjust. Feedback, the fuel of evolution. Most people avoid feedback because they associate it with criticism or failure. But feedback isn't personal, it's informational. Think of it like this. If you touch a hot stove, the pain isn't punishment, it's a message. If your business launch flops, the market isn't rejecting you, it's giving you data. If your morning routine fails to stick, your brain isn't broken, it's signaling a design flaw. Every result is a reflection, not of your worth, but of your current system, strategy, or approach. When you remove ego and embrace feedback, you become unshakable. Because now you're in a continuous improvement loop, the most powerful position in life. How to analyze, not judge. There's a big difference between self-awareness and self-attack. Learn to step back and observe your process with curiosity, not condemnation. Ask, what worked well this week? What felt aligned? What drained me? What obstacles came up and what triggered them? What pattern am I noticing that needs attention? Don't beat yourself up for stumbles. Stumbling is part of the stride. Look at everything you do as part of a living experiment, and the more data you collect, the better you'll get. Adaptability, your superpower in action. Flexibility is not weakness. It's wisdom in motion. Being rigid kills progress. Being adaptable unlocks potential. Here's how to stay flexible without losing focus. 1. Review weekly. Set a recurring check-in. What did I accomplish? What surprised me? What do I need to change? Even 15 minutes of honest review each week can shift your entire trajectory. 2. Pivot strategically. If something isn't working, don't abandon the goal. Recalibrate the method. Want to get fit but hate the gym? Try hiking, cycling, or bodyweight workouts. Want to write daily but feel stuck? Switch from laptop to voice notes or handwriting. The goal remains. The path is allowed to evolve. 3. Stay outcome-focused, method flexible. Clarity of outcome plus flexibility in strategy equals unstoppable momentum. Persistence, the decision to continue, not the absence of difficulty. People often misunderstand persistence. They think it's about powering through, grinding endlessly, never stopping. But real persistence is adaptive endurance. It's not blind effort, it's intelligent tenacity. It's asking, how can I move forward with what I've learned? What's the next best step, given what I now know? Persistence is the decision to show up again, wiser, sharper, and more aligned. It's getting back up, not mindlessly pushing through. Every master was once a beginner who refused to give up. So don't confuse a slow season with the end of the story. If you're still learning, you're still winning. Beware the trap of stagnant consistency. There's such a thing as too much discipline without enough awareness. It's called stagnant consistency. Doing the same thing over and over, even when it's no longer effective. Don't get so addicted to your routines that you forget to ask, are they still serving my highest vision? Sticking to a broken process is not discipline, it's avoidance. Refining your system is not weakness, it's leadership. Your process is a living ecosystem. Imagine your goals as a garden. You plant seeds, desires, you design the landscape, the plan, you water it daily, discipline, but you must also observe the ecosystem. Are certain plants not growing? Is the soil missing nutrients? Does something need to be pruned? Your dream is a living system. It evolves as you evolve. You're not just chasing a goal, you're growing into the person capable of achieving it. That requires constant tending, adjusting, listening, evolving. Final words. Evolve or stay the same. You've already done the hardest parts. You dared to dream. You built a plan. You began, even when it was uncomfortable. You committed to daily action. Now you earn the next level, not by being perfect, but by being open, coachable, and persistent. Life doesn't reward the ones who get it right the first time. It rewards the ones who are willing to get it wrong, learn, and keep going. So ask yourself, what needs to be tweaked? What do I need to let go of? What lesson has this week been trying to teach me? Then adjust. Learn, persist, evolve. Because your dream is still calling, and you are getting stronger every time you answer. Step 6. Master the long game. Sustain your vision through patience and purpose. By now, you've defined your dream, mapped your plan, taken action, stayed disciplined, and embraced growth through feedback. But now comes the part that breaks most people. Not because it's hard, but because it's slow. Because success isn't built in a week. Transformation doesn't happen overnight, and mastery doesn't arrive after 30 days of hustle. This is the long game. where most people give up, where the world goes quiet, where results are invisible but growth is happening beneath the surface. And the only thing that carries you through is a deep, unshakable sense of patience and purpose. The illusion of instant gratification. We live in a world that glorifies the quick win, 30 days to 6 figures, one hack to 10x your results, overnight transformation. But here's the truth. Anything meaningful takes time, and the more powerful your vision is, the more time it will require to root itself in the real world. Because you're not just building a goal, you're becoming a person. And people don't transform in fast forward. They grow through seasons, through layers, through repetition, reflection, and resilience. So if you're not where you thought you'd be yet, good. That means you're still in the fight. That means you haven't quit. And in the long game, not quitting is what separates the dreamers from the finishers. Trust the invisible growth. Think of a seed planted in the ground. For weeks, maybe months, there's no visible growth, no leaves, no fruit, no signs of progress. But under the surface, roots are forming, stability is building, the foundation is being laid. Your dream works the same way. There will be seasons where you feel like nothing's happening. You're showing up, doing the work, following the process, and still no external reward. But don't mistake quiet for stagnation. Your consistency is building invisible momentum. Keep watering your dream, keep showing up. The breakthrough will come, but only to those who didn't stop in the silent season. Purpose, your anchor in the waiting. So how do you stay strong when progress is slow? You reconnect to purpose. Purpose is the fuel that doesn't run out. It's deeper than hype, more resilient than motivation. It's the why behind the work. Because let's be honest, some days the dream won't feel exciting. Some days the numbers won't move. Some days you'll wonder if it's even worth it. And on those days, you don't need a new tactic. You need to remember your reason. Why did you start? What's the deeper mission? Who will benefit from your success? What will it mean for your family, your legacy, your soul? If your goal is only about the outcome, you'll quit when it gets hard. But if your vision is tied to something bigger than you, you'll keep going, even when it's hard. That's what purpose does. It makes the wait meaningful. Cultivating patience as a strength. Patience is not passive, it's not weakness. It is an active skill of inner strength. It's the ability to stay grounded in action even when the outcome is not immediate. Here's how to develop it. 1. Zoom out. Don't measure your progress by the last 3 days. Measure it by the last 3 months, the last year. Zoom out. See the trend, the curve, the arc. You'll realize you're further than you think. 2. Celebrate process over outcome. Did you show up today? You won. Did you honor your routine? You won. Did you overcome resistance and stay on the path? That's growth. Learn to love the doing, not just the reward. 3. Shift from sprint to endurance mindset. A sprint burns out, endurance sustains. You don't need to go hard for 7 days, you need to stay steady for 7 years. That's how legacy is built. That's how mastery is earned. Avoiding burnout in the long journey. Patience doesn't mean pushing relentlessly without rest. You are not a machine. You need space to breathe, restore, and reconnect. Burnout isn't a sign of weakness, it's a signal. Realign. So along the way, take breaks without guilt, reflect often, celebrate small wins, protect your energy like it's sacred because it is. Long-term success is not about grinding harder. It's about sustaining the fire without burning the house down. Commitment to the vision, flexibility in the journey. Never forget this. Be committed to your vision, but be flexible in your path. What does that mean? It means you don't let obstacles steal your dream, but you're willing to evolve your approach. You hold the destination firm and the method loosely. That's how you adapt. That's how you outlast the doubters. That's how you stay in the game. Final words. Endure with fire. This step, mastering the long game, is where most people vanish. They wanted it fast. They wanted it easy. They quit when it got boring. But not you. You're here because your dream means more than instant gratification. You understand the truth. Anything worth having requires endurance. So today, plant your feet, reconnect to your purpose, give yourself grace for the pace, but never stop walking. You are not behind. You are becoming, and you are exactly where you need to be. Play the long game. Protect the dream. Let purpose carry you through the waiting. Because this journey, slow, sacred, and powerful, is how destiny is built. Step 7. Arrive with gratitude, evolve with vision when the dream becomes reality. You started with a spark, a desire you could barely put into words. You built the plan. You acted. You showed up day after day. You adjusted, learned, and endured. And now, it's here. The dream that once lived only in your imagination is now real. You've crossed a threshold. You've turned vision into form. And while others still talk about what they might do, you've done it. But now comes a question just as important as the dream itself. What do you do when you finally arrive? The answer is twofold. 1. You arrive with gratitude and honor the journey that brought you here. 2. And you evolve with vision. Because the end of one dream is the beginning of another. This is how you finish strong and begin again, not from desperation, but from a place of purpose, joy, and legacy. Arriving with gratitude. Gratitude is the soul's way of saying, I see what I've become. After all the striving, pushing, building, you must take a moment to stop, to breathe, to look around, to feel it. Let yourself feel what it means to have arrived, even if the result looks different than you originally imagined. Don't rush into the next goal. Don't gloss over the moment. Sit in it. Reflect. Who have I become on this journey? What moments defined my growth? What am I most proud of, not just in results, but in resilience? What did this dream teach me about myself? Success is not just a destination. It is a mirror. It reveals your inner transformation. And when you ground yourself in gratitude, you own your evolution. You anchor the meaning. You don't just pass through it, you absorb it. That's what makes success fulfilling, not just impressive. Celebrate without apology. You've worked, you've persisted, you've become. So celebrate it, boldly, fully, without apology. Too many people downplay their achievements out of false humility, but dimming your light serves no one, not your friends, not your family, and not the world that needs your example. Celebrate to honor your courage. Celebrate to inspire others. Celebrate because you earned this. Throw the party, share the story, document the moment, not from ego but from legacy, to remember this chapter of your life when you had a dream and made it real. Evolve with vision. There is no final arrival. Here's what might surprise you. Even after you reach your dream, you'll realize something powerful. You were never chasing the outcome. You were chasing the growth. The deeper truth is this: what fulfills you most is who you became on the way. So now that you've arrived, a new question emerges. What's next? Because the moment you fulfill one vision, a new one is already being born. This isn't restlessness, it's evolution. You're not the same person who started this journey. Your identity has expanded. Your capacity has increased. Your vision must now grow with you. This is the nature of all builders, creators, and visionaries. You don't settle, you don't regress, you evolve. Not out of lack, but out of love for what you're capable of becoming. Revisit the cycle with wisdom and depth. Look back at the process that brought you here. 1. Desire sparked the dream. 2. You built a plan. 3. You began even before feeling ready. 4. You practiced daily discipline. 5. You adjusted through feedback. 6. You mastered the long game. 7. And now you've arrived. But this cycle doesn't end. It expands. Each time you reach a milestone, you don't retire the process. You recommit to it with bigger vision and deeper character. You've proven to yourself what's possible. Now, ask, what new vision feels just out of reach? Where is the next place I want to grow? What legacy do I now feel called to build? Because now, you're not just dreaming for you. You're dreaming for others, for your family, your community. The people watching, quietly wondering if they're capable too. And they are, but they need someone to go first. You already did. From success to significance. When the dream becomes real, your mission shifts. It's no longer just about achievement. It becomes about impact. It's no longer just about what you did. It becomes about what you now stand for. You move from chasing goals to creating meaning, from building income to building legacy, from personal success to collective elevation. And that's the greatest gift of all, to take the strength you built for yourself and use it to lift others, to teach, to mentor, to lead, to serve. Not because you have to, but because you can. Final challenge. Close this chapter with power, then begin again with vision. So here you are. You've walked the path, you've proven what's possible, and now you have a choice. You can stay here, safe, proud, complete. Or you can rise into a new identity, not because you're chasing more, but because you're living fully. Gratitude is how we honor the dream. Vision is how we step into the next one. So today, take time, reflect, celebrate, express thanks to the process and the person you've become. Then ask yourself the most powerful question of all. What now wants to be born through me? Because you've done the impossible once. You can do it again. And now you'll do it with deeper wisdom, bolder courage, and a heart fully awake. You've arrived, and you've only just begun. The dream was never the destination. The dream was the doorway. The real destination is the person you're still becoming.